The FDA's approval of a new Alzheimer's drug today followed months of debate within the medical community about the agency's procedures, which, as Amna Nawaz reports, the announcement has done little to quiet.
That's right, Judy. The approval was based on two clinical trials. One showed some improvement in patients who'd been given the drug aducanumab, but the other found no benefit. A number of practitioners said that was not good enough and fell short of the FDA's usual standards for approval. And in November, an outside advisory board recommended the FDA not approve the drug. But other medical professionals said the need was so great that any medication that offered promise was worth trying. The last treatment for Alzheimer's came on the market some 18 years ago. Pam Belluck is a health reporter for the New York Times. She's been following all these developments closely, and she joins me now. Pam, welcome back to the NewsHour. Thanks for making the time. Let's start with that news of the approval today. Even with this disagreement over how effective the drug is, the FDA still approved it. Why? What do we know about what they based that on?
Well, what they said was they actually acknowledged that there was not clear evidence of clinical benefit. That there was, some kind of murkiness in the evidence about whether this will actually help patients slow down their memory and thinking problems. But what they said is there's some suggestion of that. And one thing that everybody on all sides agrees that the drug does do is that it attacks a key protein in Alzheimer's disease. This is a protein called amyloid, and it's the protein that clumps into plaques in the brains of people who have Alzheimer's. So they said, well, we're going to approve this drug because it does attack the biology of the disease. We have some signal that there might be some benefit for patients' symptoms, and we're going to tell the company that they need to do another clinical trial. And if the results of that trial do not show benefit, then the FDA might revoke the approval, and it could end up being that those trials don't show benefit at all. The issue with that is that the clinical trial takes 3 or 4 or 5 years. And so this drug will be on the market. Patients will be using it without actually being certain that it has the ability to help them.
So while the drug is out there, I'm assuming there's going to be high demand for it, right, with millions of people in the U.S. suffering from Alzheimer's. Do we know enough about the benefits and the risks at this point? What did they find in the trials in terms of the risks that people take on in taking this drug?
Yes, there's definitely a risk. This drug can cause brain swelling and brain bleeding. And in the trial, about 40% of patients in the trial did experience that. Now, it's not quite as serious as it sounds because most of those cases didn't actually produce any symptoms for patients, but some number did, and about 6% of patients had to quit the trials because of the brain swelling or brain bleeding. So those can be serious side effects, and as a result, anybody who takes this drug will have to have regular brain MRIs to check to see if their brain is experiencing anything like this. In terms of the benefit that they found, and as you said in the beginning, only one trial found any benefit. Another completely identical trial did not find any benefit. The benefit in the trial that did seem to be positive is actually quite slight. So some of the scientists who were concerned and arguing against approval were saying, we don't have a slam dunk here. We only have one trial that shows any possibility of benefit, and that benefit itself is pretty slight. And then on the other side, we know that there is a risk. And so they were saying the potential benefit here doesn't outweigh the risk.
Pam, here is one of the key questions here, though, is that when the FDA issues approval, that implies this drug is safe, this is okay to use, and this is effective. There doesn't seem to be a clear-cut case for that here. So what's the role of the FDA in all of this?
Well, I think the FDA is looking at the seriousness of this disease, the fact that millions of people have it, that there's very little on the market that actually helps for more than a few months, and they are saying that this drug seems to have a hint of benefit, and it goes after this key protein of amyloid, and that's what they're sort of banking on. Now, there isn't a lot of really strong history with drugs that have tried to attack amyloid. There's about 25 years of failed clinical trials with anti-amyloid drugs. They have succeeded in knocking down the protein and clearing it out of the brain, but they have not succeeded in producing any benefit that people would actually notice in terms of their symptoms. So that's kind of the gamble that the FDA is taking here. They're saying, we think this one is going to be the one that sort of crosses that threshold. We think that its ability to get rid of amyloid in your brain is actually going to help you see that your memory loss declines at a slower rate.
That is Pam Belluck of the New York Times joining us tonight. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you.